So welcome everybody in the new year, which will make, guys, very substantial changes in your life. If you really want to go for changes, so that is the right timing. Um, we talk about probably the most important thing, which will play very substantial role in your interviewing, number one, and in your job activities after you get a job. So we talk about test documentation. Overall, test documentation accounts to maybe 50% of all of the entire conversation in average. Test cases, test plans, that is the key stuff. And maybe not in terms of being 50% of the time, but being 50% of the importance which impacts their decision-making process. So if you can do test documentation, guys, you can do everything. If you cannot clearly explain what's test case and how to write test case and stuff like that, so it means basically they have to teach you how to test stuff. So that is the idea. So here is the difference between people who know what's software testing and people who don't know what's software testing. People who know, they can write test cases, then they can answer questions like how would you test login password dialog box? How would you test, I don't know, a pencil, Golden Gate Bridge? How would you test Gmail application? Give me an idea. Couple of steps. Because test documentation is a reflection of the entire software testing life cycle. Now, supposedly you did the quiz, okay, number one. By the way, in that 14-15 section, you have couple of outstanding things. So first of all, Yana Murza, she's a champion of YouTube when it comes to test cases and agile testing. I mean, she's a hero with hundreds of thousands of people, watching her videos, and she was featured in industry blogs, very, very high-profile blogs. And there was a guy who said, when we have materials like the one Yana is teaching, so the industry can survive, the hard times. So now we know what to do. So that is what you have here. And it doesn't mean you have to write test cases exactly as she explains. Okay, she does it her own way. But it's very important to understand what she says, so you can apply same principles in different situations. If you go to 10 different companies, you are likely to see maybe not 10, but maybe 5, 6 different ways of doing test documentation, which is fine. But fundamentals are the same. Specific implementation is different. So let's go to the survey. Let me refresh my screen. So what we have is just 33 people participated. Guys, we are in trouble, really. We are in a real trouble with 33 participants out of 100 something. Okay. Ask yourself if you really want to get a job. So, what can I do? Okay, let's go there. What is test case? Good question. You know what? I will open one more window here, which is our forum, because we have answers to the key questions there, which are more elaborated. What is ad hoc? What is test case? Where is it? What is test case? Let's go there. let's go there. It has some information here. Okay, now we can look at your quiz. So most of you, 97%, are saying that it is a set of conditions and variables under which a tester will determine if requirement upon an application is satisfied. So test case is about a requirement. No requirement, no test case. When people tell you, give me test cases for login password, interface, you cannot write test cases unless you have requirements. It's much better if you write requirements down to show them that your test cases are matching the requirements, rather than saying, okay, here is how I test, and nobody knows which requirements you have in your mind. So the way we teach you is, you say, okay, here are requirements and here are the corresponding test cases. That is what we suggest you to do. Now, before we continue, I see here, it says step-by-step instruction on how software features should be tested. That is wrong. It is dead wrong. You might find that stuff on Google. I mean, if you search something on Google, most of what you find is a total garbage. But in that specific case, we have two different kind of standpoints in test cases. Some people develop test cases and some people execute somebody else's test cases, which represents very substantial difference. If you write test cases, if you create test cases, it is not an instruction, to execute. Okay? It is a situation which you have to create to test specific requirement. Step-by-step instruction is given to someone who executes test cases. If all you do is execution, to you it's a step-by-step instruction. You don't care. What is that instruction about? Who cares? It's an instruction. You just execute. No. The challenge of the test case is not how to execute the test case. The challenge is how to create that situation in which you make sure that requirement is implemented properly or not. So that is number one. So test case is not necessarily a step-by-step instruction. And then when it says how software feature should be tested, software feature to be tested might need hundreds of test cases. Hundreds. So test case is not about a feature. Test case is about smallest possible requirement. And feature might be described, with numerous requirements. Depends what kind of feature. So that is wrong. Let's take a look now at the form. It says, set of conditions and variables under which a tester will determine if requirement was satisfied. Good. Test case is 100% derived from requirement. Test case with no requirement has no meaning. If you write test case, you have to ask yourself, what is the requirement I'm testing? And when it comes to an interview, you would rather show that requirement to these people and say, okay, here is the requirement and that is how I test it. One more time, no requirement, no test case. A test case might fail or pass in just one place. You cannot have a test case which might fail in 10 different places. Then you need 10 different test cases. So that is what makes it the smallest possible action in software testing, because it can fail or pass in just one place. That is why it is the smallest. If it can fail or pass in 3 places, you have to do 3 test cases. Okay, good. The group of test cases is called test suite. They might call it Michael Portnoy if they want to, but most of the companies would call it test suite. The group of test suites will be called test suite again. That is the common practice. The lowest possible level document in software testing. There is nothing smaller than test case. Okay. So here is the definition, and then we have bullets which kind of clarify what's under that. So if you want to beat the competition, if you want to get a job, it's not enough to say set of conditions and variables. You have to come with the bullets here. And then we have a couple of explanations here. We are saying when you go to an interview, there might be two different questions asked. Two different questions. One question is write test cases for such and such functionality, which means you have to do test cases. ID, purpose, instruction, so the execution, expected result. That is what you do. Or how would you test? How would you test does not assume execution and expected result. How would you test is what is you're going to try. It comes to the purpose level. So ID, purpose, ID, purpose, ID, purpose. You don't have to elaborate that into the test cases. Here is the difference. You can clarify. When they ask you, even if they ask you write test cases, you say, do you want me to write a complete test case or you want me to write just ID and purpose? They might say, give me test cases, and they mean, how would you test? So you might clarify it. It's a good idea. Now, first test case is always the happy path. The single most important test. And if that test fails, and that is the idea of happy path, if that test fails, there is no need to continue testing. You just switch to something which makes more sense. Okay? Single most important test. What is happy path for login and password? I can log in with valid login and valid password combination. Then, when you test in the company, it's one story, but when you come to an interview, prioritizing test cases is critically important. So you do happy path, good. What is the second test? Second test is the next single most important test to be executed. Next one. You don't run into GUI if you have functionality test cases left. You know? So being able to see what's more important is important to demonstrate. Okay, so then go back to our go back to our survey. Okay, so question number 2. What is included into the test case at the time of planning? The key to answering that question is at the time of planning. Because at the time of execution we have a couple of more fields. So we have actual result and we have pass fail. So now, what do we have here? Steps to reproduce. Steps to reproduce is irrelevant. We do not have steps to reproduce in test case. We have steps to reproduce in bug report. So it's totally irrelevant. Test case ID. Yeah, I'm not sure why we don't have 100% here, but yeah, ID is always there. No suggestions on how to resolve anything. Good. Pass-fail indication. Again, 18%, no way. No way, because the question is at the time of planning, so we don't know any pass and fail. An instruction on how to get from application-based state to verifiable application output or expected. So, how to get there? You can call it steps, but we are trying to avoid the word steps. Why 66%? I don't know. It's 100%. You have to explain how to execute the test. Expected result. Yes. Guys, more people are saying we need expected result than saying we have to explain how to execute the test. Short description. No way. Short description is a part of bug report. Actual result. Actual result is not provided at the time of planning. Okay, keep going. What are the most common documents written by testers? Bug reports. Yes, we do bug reports. A step to reproduce is not a document. So it makes no sense. steps to reproduce is a part of the bug report. Okay. Test cases, yes, we do test cases. Test matrices, yes, we do test matrices. I mean, we might not do it at all, but sometimes we have to. So it is one of the documents which we potentially do. Traceability matrices, absolutely, we do traceability matrices. What do we trace? We trace implementation of requirements, so we know what to test and what not to test. Traceability matrices, definitely we can do some. Test plans, we do test plans. We contribute to test plans. Most of the test plan will be done by managers and leads and senior level people, but even if you are not in that category, you still will contribute a little bit. So we do test plans. End-to-end tests. So nobody does tests but QA people. Requirements. We don't do requirements. We do not do use cases. Use cases are requirements. Use cases are business requirements. We don't do use cases, obviously. Which documents would you refer to when creating test cases? Honestly, guys, practically each and every document of business nature or functionality kind of nature, product level nature, will, or let's say might help you sometimes. And it says here 72% all business and technical documentation available. I would agree. Whatever you have, give it to me and I will make use of it, if you have enough time. Will rely primarily on my product knowledge. 0. I'm proud of you. Good. On my intuition. Not really. I mean, it's always there, but it's not what you rely on. Product requirement document, 72%. Do we have any number higher than that? No. Product requirement document is a good one. Then we have business requirement document, 63%. Business requirement document explains how users will use it. Product requirement document explains what that product is about, so users can use it that way. So both are very important, but I would say functional specification is the best thing you can have in your hands if you want to do test cases. Functional specification, it goes function by function, or let's say feature by feature. It explains each and every feature. That is, guys, that is a dream stuff to have. Okay, emails from customers. Sometimes, let's say sometimes, they might send it to you so you can reproduce the problem. Yeah. Meeting notes. Meeting notes are important. You might see discussions there which help you to better understand what's wrong and what's okay. Manuals and help, yes. Use cases are requirements, guys. As long as requirements help, so use cases will help. Test design. Test design is the least useful document because test design shows you which areas should be covered. It helps you not to miss anything. It doesn't help you to go into the functionality, but the purpose of test design is different. Third-party publications, books published by independent authors. Sometimes there is a feature in your product which is not nicely described, but it is nicely described when another application is using it. So somebody else's documentation or a book which is available on the market. So then you can use it to test the feature if it is the same feature. So yeah, it might be helpful. So pretty much everything is useful. So we'll bypass the login and password here so far. What is the difference between test case and a test plan? Wow. So most of you are saying here test cases are about meeting requirements and test plan is about test strategy, schedule, resources. Absolutely. So one is about requirements to be implemented and another one is a strategic document. Good. Okay, dangerous stuff. 30% are saying that test cases are an integral part of the test plan. No way. Test cases are exact instructions. And test plan is a strategic document. It cannot be part of the test plan. No way. Okay, risk analysis. Wow, 93%. Actions taken to avoid things that might negatively impact the scope, quality, timeliness. Okay. Shared responsibility among everyone involved in a project. That is true, guys. No matter what you do, you manage risk analysis at your level. So manager has his concerns. You have your concerns. But you have to make decisions. You have to we never have enough time. That is the reason for risk analysis. We never have enough time to test everything. So we have to decide what we do first, what we do second. If we have not enough time, what we're going to do and what we are not going to do. So that is where risk analysis kicks in, normally. Okay. And you do your part of that. What is test matrix? We have matrix of tests. Guys, it makes no sense. I mean, total nonsense. Format for specifying system requirements. No. Data collection mechanism. It is true. And then it says spreadsheet. It is a spreadsheet for organizing and presenting. Yes, it is for organizing and presenting, but not of the test data. Okay, it has nothing to do with test data. The test matrix is about coverage of different things. Let's say you have cross-platform and cross-browser testing. So you have a spreadsheet in which, let's say vertically, you have different browsers and horizontally you have different operating systems. And so you put a check mark or you say passed, whatever, or failed in there, inside of that spreadsheet. So you're not presenting test data. Test data will be something you type in, some, let's say some pages you open to do the test and whatever. It's not a test data. There is a difference. We have more people going for test data than people going for just data collection mechanism. Okay. What is test plan? Interesting. What is test plan? Okay, document that describes the objective, scope, approach, and focus of a software testing effort. Well, who will do test plan? We talked about it, but most of it is done by senior people because it is a strategic document. So they have to make sure the document is strategically valid. Okay, if you ask entry-level or mid-level people to take care of about strategic things, so they are not competent. They just cannot do it. Okay, test plan is okay. Strategic level. What does test plan include? Steps to reproduce. Good. Oh God, very good. Nobody says steps to reproduce. Good. Personnel allocation. Absolutely. They might say we have 3 people here, 10 people there. Automation, manual, regression, stress, load. Okay. Expected results. No way. Testing priorities and focus. Absolutely. Feedback from company management. It's not what it is about. Risk analysis. Yes, we can consider different risks. Test matrices. I don't think, well, maybe, sometimes, maybe. Test scenarios. Guys, I told you before, I will do it again. There are a couple of terms we never use. Test scenario is one. We just never use it because we don't know what it is. There is no definition of it, which is widely accepted. Test scenario, test script, God knows what it is. Again, it is not unifiedly defined. Checking. We are not checking, okay? We are testing, validating, verifying. We are not checking. So test scenario is something to avoid. Use cases. Test plan. Does test plan include requirements? I don't think so. Why? I mean, requirements are requirements. It's a separate document. Real estate appraisal report. Guys, which real estate? What are we talking about? 6%. We are not in the real estate business here. So, we have just one question left. It's about login and password. Look at you guys. 20 people answered the question and 14 people skipped the question. What is the whole thing about? I mean, do you need a job? I don't know. Guys, if that is the level of your commitment, I can tell you right away what's going to happen. It's no brainer. It's no brainer. I see that a lot. Okay, let me see if we have questions so far. Okay. Can I put this session on record? It is on record, yes, it is on record. So no questions? Come on. Anybody, guys, are you there? Are you alive? Are you sleeping, or are you still there? Nobody can hear me? Okay, at least you can hear me. I got scared. Okay. Are you still consuming that Olivier stuff, after the new year? It puts you asleep or what? Okay. Okay, we have one question left there, which is about login and password. And as I told you before, we start with requirements. And here it is. So you don't have to invent anything. So at least you start with learning what we gave you. And where is that login? And oh yeah, here it is. And login password. Yeah, it says assumptions of requirements. So you start with requirements. You do not need all of them. Let me go through that. Copy. So valid login and valid password combination lets user in. That is a decent requirement. Any other combination will be rejected. Okay. Password is case insensitive. Let me remove the case sensitive, case insensitive. For the interview purposes, so you don't need that much of elaboration. Submit button, forget about submit button. It's not about GUI. Web applications. Password field displays inputs in bullets. Yes. Password hides the characters. Cut menu item, copy menu item. Okay, let me take that web stuff, cut, and let's call it PS. Okay. Now, so valid login and valid password combination. So we need a test case. Any other combination might require more than one test case. Password field displays inputted bullets. We need one test case. We just start typing and see it's in bullets. Cut menu item on password field is disabled. Yes, we need one test case. Copy menu item is disabled. We need one more test case. So altogether we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe a few more out of any other combination. So that is where we are. It says if you test web applications and you log out of the application using backspace on your browser, so it should automatically log you out. You cannot go back and forth, staying logged in. If you get out of there, so it automatically logs you out, which is a nice feature. And it is not really what they want you to say, but if you come with that, you will be remembered. Okay? It is something, you will be really appreciated with that stuff. So, wow. Because most of the people don't even think that way. So, now, Out of test cases, so we have test cases, let's see, they are a little bit maybe not easily readable here because of the formatting there, but we'll try. So ID, okay, let's say that is ID. The next one is with purpose, valid login, valid password, then something you type in, and then expected. So here we have instruction, and then we have expected result. But to do that, we have test data. We created two accounts. One is Mikhail login Mikhail, and password is Portnov blah blah blah. And then we have one more account which we might use or might not use. We'll see. So we have some test data, so I can put that data into my test cases already. So let's take a look. I'm saying purpose, valid login and valid password. So what do I type in? I type Mikhail from the first account and Portnov 12345 from same account. What do I expect? Logged in. Now we run into valid login, invalid password. Okay, Mikhail, and then password is different in just one letter. Instead of V, it's W. And so what do I expect? I expect error which says provide valid combination blah blah blah. Good. I will remove case sensitive, case insensitive from here, okay, to make it easier. Login required, button disabled. I will remove that GUI stuff. I don't like GUI stuff here. Password required, submit button disabled. We don't want that. Invalid login. Okay, now number 3. Invalid login, valid password. Okay, invalid login and valid password. So you remember that any other combination will be rejected. Any other combination. So valid login, invalid password is here, number 2. Invalid login, valid password. But you know what? Invalid login by itself makes no sense, because invalid login means no account. If you have no account, then valid or invalid password to non-existent account makes no sense. That is why we are using second account which we created. I'm saying, okay, invalid login, I'm saying another account. It is existing, but it's another. And then I use one account, but the password comes from different account. Guys, it happens to you a lot if you have multiple accounts somewhere. I have multiple accounts on YouTube. It happens to me all the time. So there is an error. Masking password. Okay. So what do? You type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it shows in bullets. Then copy menu item on password. So you do nothing. You don't have to do anything. You just have to do that mouse action, see if menu item is enabled or disabled. Cut menu item on password. Again, you don't do anything. You just right mouse click. And that is what you expect. So here are the, how many? 4, 5, 6 test cases which are must. Okay. Nobody, I'm not asking you for more than that, but here are 6 test cases which are must. And again, you have requirements, you have data, test data. Okay, here is test data. Let me move it there. Copy, because you use it in your answer. Test cases, test data, and that's it. So that is what you have to do. Whatever else you did, guys, is cute, you know, really. But at least you have to start with learning what we teach you. That is how you approach answering the questions. You do not cut, corners. When you cut corners, you come to the wrong place. Okay, and so let me see what you've got there. You are saying positive precondition. Listen, precondition cannot be positive. I mean, the entire expression makes no sense. Positive precondition. Account is created. Yes, okay. Enter valid login, valid password. Test 03 QWERTY. Logged in. So then you have to start with test data and say that test 03 QWERTY is an account. Click on submit button. Expected result. Logged in. Click submit button is you do not want to go for trivial things. Obviously, to test if combination of valid login and valid password work, to test that, you have to push the button. But it is not really what we are talking about when it comes to an interview, when it comes to showing that you understand what you are doing. Okay? Okay, so guys, we are pretty much done for today. Let me see if we have questions now. Leave fields. What do you mean leave fields? I don't know that. What about leave fields? Leave blank. Well, why would you have a separate test case for that? If there is a requirement on, let's say, button to be disabled if the field is empty, then you might really come with a test case on that. But if the field is empty, it is an instance of not providing a valid password or valid login. So we have just two classes which we look at. So one class is you provide valid login. Another class is anything else. Whatever it is, either it is valid login or it is not. So basically having an empty field or saying hi Michael or placing digits 5 or 25 or just 1 or whatever, it is all belonging to the same class, which is not valid login or not valid password. So it really makes no sense. There are millions of instances of what's not valid. I don't think empty field represents any kind of separate task which deserves separate attention. That is my thinking. Okay, guys, it looks like we are done for today, and we will meet next Monday. As far as I remember, Marina has 3 sessions left with you. So after she finishes her 3 sessions, so I will be doing 3 sessions a week. Okay, and just make sure you send resumes to Christina. And I believe we've done already 25, 26 resumes for your class. And guys, we still, have to do another 80. And just make sure you give us your input. And we can do it fast. So Christina is doing a good job helping me with resumes. So we are much faster now in producing resumes. Okay, so thank you very much, and we will talk in a week.